Hi everyone, welcome to the Google Cloud Technical Series. My name is Jay Jenkins. I lead tech strategy and evangelism for Google Cloud in Asia Pacific.
Hi everyone, I'm Yewen, customer engineer at Google Cloud. We are coming to you live from Singapore. Jay and I will be your host for the next 4 days. We are so excited to bring the community together for this new cloud series. So these hands-on sessions and how-to sessions are a great opportunity for us to learn how to build better, faster, at scale using latest Google Cloud technologies.
And we have 44 sessions for you this week. I mean, it's an amazing week. Now, while some of those have been pre-recorded because we wanted to make sure we had the best of the experts from the region, most of those are going to be coming to you live from right here in our developer space. So we do have a lot on today. It's getting started with Google Cloud. So you'll understand the foundations of Google Cloud and what Google Cloud can offer as a platform. After that, later today, we're going to be talking about optimizing infrastructure. So compute, networking, storage, what does Google Cloud have and how can we use that to help us develop better applications? So that's today. Tomorrow, we're going to be talking about modernizing those applications. So we're going to talk about things, newer technologies like containers. We're going to be talking about your CI/CD pipelines and your software development lifecycles. And again, the tools that you can use to be more agile in how you approach those applications and how you can scale those applications for an enormous number of consumers. All right, day three. Day three, it's all about data. So we're going to talk about real-time data, batch data. We're going to be talking about knocking down silos in your organization so you can have better access to that data, so you can create better applications for your customers based on that data, so better decision making. And we'll talk about how data analytics is starting to merge with artificial intelligence. And on that final day, we're going to be talking about machine learning and artificial intelligence. And we're going to approach that from a number of ways. So what does that mean for developers, and how can developers get started with machine learning tools? What does that mean for data engineers? What does it mean for our deeper technical expertise when it comes to machine learning and developing your own models? And one of the important topics that we've heard from a lot of our customers is around things like machine learning operations. So how do we actually operate and scale that inference once we've created those models? So a lot to get through this week.
Yeah, you are really talking about a big week. But don't forget, every day we have a dedicated What's Hot sessions. During the session, we'll explore the latest Google Cloud technologies, release, and products, not to be missed.
Right, and of course, one of my favorite things is at the end of the day, we also have Dev Zone, which is an ability for all of you to actually get hands-on with some of these products. So we're talking about hands-on labs, and we've also added some additional on-demand training as well. So previous labs that we've done, so you can take a look at those, work along with the speakers, and get hands-on with those technologies.
Yes, we should also mention the Google Cloud Skills Challenge. You can find the tab on top of your page. Simply sign up and complete one lab within the quest. Then you can unlock free 30 days access to Quick Lab catalogs, so you can find all the lab featured this week. After the session, you can completing the labs and gain the skill badges. Earning Google Cloud skill badges will help you develop the in-demand cloud skills and demonstrate your technical competencies. So you can find more information in the FAQ tab. But Jay, why are you wearing a lab coat today?
A lab coat. Well, it's in honor of us being in our developer space. So this is our developer space that we're coming to you live from. Normally this is held for many physical events as well, and in order to engage our larger community. And this space is all about, well, experimentation. So experimentation, exploration, building, and developing. And actually joining us today, we have the head of our startup ecosystems in Southeast Asia, Bach. But before I go to Bach, what I'd like you to do is take a broader look at our space. So as I walk over, you'll see part of our developer space, and then we'll talk to Bach around why this space was developed and some of the activities that have been held here, as well as what the impact of the last year has been on our developer communities. So let's talk to Bach now. Bach, thank you so much for joining us today.
Oh, my pleasure to be here, Jay.
Great. So if you could quickly introduce yourself and what
Sure.
your role is.
Sure. So I'm the head of startup ecosystem in Southeast Asia. But also wear another hat. Me and my team, we also manage the operations and the programs of the developer space, which is where we currently is right now.
Fantastic. And what sort of challenges did the developer community have, and why was this space built?
Yeah, so I'm in developer relations, and in our day-to-day line of work, we are very fortunate to be able to interact with developer communities across the region. And one of the key pain points they actually shared with us was the fact that it's very challenging and sometimes it could be tiring as well to be able to find venue to host their meetups. Right? They constantly have to do this for each and every single event that they do. So we then figured that why don't we provide that infrastructure and the venue that's always going to be available to them when they need it, taking away that pain point so they can then focus on running their events, cultivating a grassroots learning environment, and bringing the content, the speakers, to be able to interact, with their community members. And that's why we developed the space. Yeah.
Great. So I understand you brought some photos with us, with you today. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the different spaces that we have?
Sure. So one of the key considerations when we're designing the space was to make sure that it's welcoming, and it also represents a home for developers. The very first photo was what you will see when someone walked through the entrance. It's an Android figure that we put up holding welcome in various different languages that represent Southeast Asia. And if they continue to walk along the corridor, they come to a place where we call the Android City or the Developer City. It's actually one of my favorite location in the space, and the reason behind it was that it actually represents the ethos of what we're trying to build, a home for developers. But there's also photos on the wall, and we call that the family portrait wall. And it represents communities, group photos of communities that we have the privilege to interact with over the years. And then later on, one of the things that we want to make sure is instilled elements of inspiration. So we have kiosks, like the third photo, which is showcasing a lot of the games that was being developed by our alumni through the Indie Games Accelerator. And also, a place where they can mingle, network, just to encourage that serenity and a spontaneous encounter for the community to be able to discuss creative ideas and brainstorm.
Right.
Yeah.
And speaking of that, those bottom three photos are really about some of those spaces and how configurable these spaces are.
Yeah.
So, in the middle you have the whiteboarding, and on the right you have sort of a larger area for gatherings, but there are walls, right, that can sort of close in those spaces
Exactly.
for more intimate gatherings as well. So if we take a look then at some of the activities that you've had in the space, what sort of activities have you had over the years?
Well, this brings back memories, Jay. I think in 2019, we ran over 100 plus events in the space. So these are some of the photos that represent some of the activities that's happening in the space. So we have done workshops that focus on teaching developers Go technologies and products. These are grassroots activities held by the community, but also we ran some of our own. We have mentoring sessions for startups as well. And also we have roundtable discussions where we encourage people to bring in their ideas and have kind of like a healthy discussion of how they could take it off the ground. But I just want to point to the photo in the top row, at the middle photo there. It's an event that focuses on diversity. And it's something that we really prioritize a lot. This was the first cohort of the Women Developers Academy program. And to date, we actually ran 8 cohorts of that program. So that was back in 2019, I believe, way back. So seeing that photo right now, it kind of reminded me of how long we've came about.
Right. So 2019, because of course in 2020 you did have to pivot to a lot of online sorts of events. So maybe just very quickly tell us sort of what that's meant to the community.
Yeah, 2020 was a really interesting year. It was also very challenging. With the pandemic situation, we have to close the space for safety reasons, obviously. So we came together and we brainstormed a little bit about how can we continue to support the community. And the first step we took was to interview the community leads. A lot of them were trying to get online, but without understanding the know-how. This was the early days in the pandemic, right? So we then say, why don't we bring our infrastructure, our service online, and continue along the lines of taking away that pain point. So what we did was we established what we call a virtual developer space. It's a YouTube channel where we provide the infrastructure, the background coordination of online events, as well as even post-production services, right? And communities will then be able to reach out to us, book a slot, and just focus on bringing amazing content and interact with their community online.
Great. Bach, thank you so much. So on the screen, you'll see different ways to stay connected with that community. Bach, thank you so much for your time today.
Oh, pleasure. And, looking forward to, welcoming everybody again back in the space when the whole situation dies down.
Great. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Once again, thank you, Bach, for sharing with us a little bit more about the developer space. And of course, it's great to have this digital learning event coming to you live from the space. We do hope to have some of you in this space again sometime soon. My name is Jay Jenkins. I lead tech strategy and evangelism for Google Cloud in Asia Pacific.
And I'm Ye Wen, customer engineer at Google Cloud. I think let's get started. We are kicking off the day with getting started with Google Cloud. Our customer engineer, Vincent Tang and Andrew Do, will guide us through some basic skills you need to know to spin up the first project and virtual machines in Google Cloud. Later, we will be joined by our partner, Paul Stephenson from VMware and Bala Muragisan from NetApp to show us how to optimize the infrastructure. So Jay, the Q&A session will be open in a minute. Why not you tell us how they can submit questions on the portal?
Absolutely. If you're new to the platform, up above you'll see a number of tabs. The most important one there is that home tab, which will bring you back to this screen. You can also take a look at the sessions available, including session titles, brief descriptions, and who the speakers are. And there's a resources tab as well with additional resources that you can take a look at. The most important button on the screen, though, is that blue one down below, which lets you ask a question. This is about the community. We want to make sure we have a conversation with you. We have Google Cloud experts standing by, but of course, you can vote for questions that you like and answer them as well if you have additional information that you would like to add.
Sounds great. So Vincent, take over from here.